Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Nate here. And Skyrim is a game of many quests and adventures for the Dragonborn to undergo. Some of them, however, offer the player the chance to exercise their own judgment and make some big decisions that will influence the ultimate outcome. Most of the choices afforded to the player in The Elder Scrolls V are at least somewhat ambiguous, in of it that there's no clear right or wrong answer. At least, not initially. Join the Stormcloaks or the Empire. Side with the Blades or Paarthurnax. You get the idea. There always seems to be some moral justification behind whatever options you're given. However, a few of the decisions you can make in Skyrim are just downright evil, oftentimes ruining, or even ending, the lives of multiple characters completely unnecessarily. And it's some of these opportunities to be the absolute bad guy that I wanted to look at today. So sit back and relax as we take a look at 5 of the most evil choices you can make in The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Starting off, the College of Winterhold quest, Hitting the Books, begins when the college's librarian, Uragro Shurb, requests that the Dragonborn recover 3 books that were stolen from the library by an Altmer student named Orthorn, who ran off with them and supposedly joined a renegade group of mages who were previously kicked out of the college, currently living at Felglow Keep. You'll be tasked with tracking down this mischievous elf and locating the stolen property. However, once you arrive at Felglow, it will quickly become apparent that these are no ordinary mages. They appear to be performing some very disturbing experiments on live human beings. Well, not exactly live, as quite a few of the people they have in cages are actually vampires, but I digress. It's unclear what exactly these mages are trying to do, but it's obviously evil, and all these mages will be very hostile, so get ready for a fight. As you make your way through the dungeon, you'll eventually come across Orthorn, that Altmer student that stole the books you're looking for in the first place. Though, funnily enough, he'll be locked in a cage as a prisoner. When you speak to him, the in-over-his-head high elf will confess to stealing the books and bringing them here. He claims he was hoping it would help him win favor amongst these renegade mages, and they would appreciate a gift and then decide to welcome him into their ranks. Instead, they just took his books and proceeded to imprison him, planning to use Orthorn for future experiments. He'll beg you to set him free, and promise to lead you to the books, which he claims are in the possession of Felglow's leader, a woman known only as the Caller, if you do let him go. Now, you can choose to open the cage and liberate Orthorn, or just leave him in there and finish the quest yourself. So already you have the opportunity to be a bit evil. Sure, he did something wrong, but he certainly doesn't deserve to die here. But if you want to be really messed up, free the elf and have him lead you to the Caller and the books. Once you arrive in the Caller's room, which seems to be the setting of some strange ritual, she'll greet the player surprisingly calmly, though will obviously be a tad angry with you murdering a bunch of her assistants and everything. Ultimately, after some short dialogue with her, you can ask the Caller to give you the books. She'll refuse and you'll have to fight her to the death in order to get what you want. However, if Orthorn is with you when you meet her, the Caller will offer you a bit of a deal. You give her Orthorn so she can continue to conduct future experiments, and she'll give you the books without a fight, essentially condemning the poor guy to die in exchange for the quest items. You, of course, can refuse this offer and just murder the Caller to death, getting the books and freeing Orthorn at the same time. But if you're feeling particularly devious, this betrayal is an option. If you do give up Orthorn, he'll utter some final lines of dialogue, saying, "How could you do this to me?" before being led back into the depths of the dungeon. But you will get to walk away with what you were looking for. So, if you're feeling very devious, this betrayal is definitely an option. Next on our list, this one's probably the most well-known, but I digress. Nymeira's Daedric quest, The Taste of Death, is among my personal favorites. It starts when you meet a priest of Arkay, Brother Varolus, standing outside of Markarth's Hall of the Dead. He'll inform you that he's had to close down the catacombs because the corpses have been going missing, and others have been entirely desecrated. He'll offer you some coin to go inside and figure out what's going on. After accepting and entering the Hall of the Dead, a mysterious woman named Iola will reveal herself, and admit that she and a coven of cannibals worshipping the Daedric god of, well, cannibalism, Nymeira, are responsible for the strange happenings here. She'll then ask that you meet her at Reachcliff Cave to help prepare for a feast the group expects to have in the honor of their god, and will have you tell Brother Varolus that you simply solved his problem and there will be no more issues at the catacombs. Once you rendezvous with Iola at Reachcliff, the two of you will clear out some Draugr to make sure everything's nice and safe for your upcoming meal. She'll then give you one final task. You see, as a part of your initiation ritual, she wants to offer Nymeira a sacrifice, and believes that unaware priest of Arkay, Brother Varolus, is the perfect candidate. You'll be directed to find him back at Markarth, and trick him into accompanying you to the cannibals' dinner. When the pair of you finally arrive, you'll find a lavish feast already set up, and Ayola will have the poor, oblivious priest lay down on an altar before asking that you kill him. This is where you finally get to exercise a bit of decision-making. You can reject such a proposition and refuse to harm Varolus, which will cause Ayola and her coven to turn hostile, but should you win the ensuing battle, the innocent man will be saved. Or if you're feeling a bit bloodthirsty, you can simply go along with the orders and execute Arkay's own and be given a unique ring and complete the quest. In this instance, it's blatantly obvious that killing, and later eating, an innocent random person is pretty evil. But, unlike our last spot, you will be given a unique reward if you do so, in the form of that ring we mentioned, making the choice a bit more of a challenging one. Cruelly end an innocent person's life, or be given some jewelry. Decisions. Coming at number 3, this evil option thankfully doesn't concern anyone dying or being condemned to do so by the Dragonborn, but is still such a tragic violation of the bro code, I feel it's worth mentioning. Look, I never said all these decisions were equally evil, okay? No matter, throughout Skyrim, there are a number of characters currently trying to pursue and win over other NPCs to start relationships with. No example of this is more blatantly obvious than the love triangle concerning Camilla Valerius. She's at the center of a conflict between two men both trying to win her over. One, a bossmer named Feandel, and the other, a Nordic bard named Sven, both jockeying for her affection. Sven and Feandel alike are some pretty devious fellows. They'll each ask the Dragonborn to deliver Camilla a forged letter that they wrote, claiming it was from the other, and this letter contains some contents that would ruin the chances said person has at a relationship. So Feandel will ask you to give Camilla a letter that he penned, which says some particularly mean things, but say it was from Sven, and Sven will ask you to do the same in reverse. Now, who you choose to assist is in the end up to you. There's sadly no option to reveal to the poor girl that both men pursuing her are equally dishonest. But if you're interested in really upsetting Sven and Feandel alike, you yourself can marry Camilla, provided you have an amulet of Moira and completed her brother's quest, the Golden Claw, denying the two deceitful men what they seek most. But here's where things get a bit funny. If you do end up marrying Camilla, after helping either Sven or Feandel, both men will be given a negative disposition towards the Dragonborn. They'll actually be mad at you. You did break the bro code. And rather hilariously, Feandel may actually appear at your home every now and again to see Camilla, and upon detecting you, he might even turn hostile. It's unclear if Feandel coming to your home is simply because his scripts tell him to follow Camilla around and Bethesda just forgot to disable those scripts in the event she got married, or if they just let that behavior continue on purpose. Even then, that wouldn't explain him turning hostile. As I've stated, Sven and Feandel are some pretty devious fellows, and Feandel turning hostile, literally trying to kill you, probably isn't the most appropriate response. But you did steal his girl, and I for one can think of few betrayals greater than doing such a thing. Okay, maybe other than selling him to some mages for some books, but you get the idea. For 4th spot, adoption in Skyrim is generally seen as a pretty benevolent act. Lifting some poor, desperate orphaned child from poverty to give them a loving home and the protection of Skyrim's greatest warrior is quite a noble thing to do. However, for some particularly dishonorable Dovahkiin, you can make this otherwise feel-good practice something truly horrifying. You see, once the Hearthfire DLC has been installed, nearly all children in the game become candidates for adoption. This includes children with active families, just assuming something tragic were to befall their parents. You can probably see where I'm going with this one. Essentially, if you find a child that you just really want to adopt, but they already have a family, if you stealthily murder all those people to death, and aren't caught by said child, after a couple in-game days, they'll be sent to Honor Hall Orphanage, where you can adopt them for yourself. I think it's lost on some people just how truly despicable doing this thing is. I mean, sure, you might be the greatest hero that ever lived, but if you kill 2 innocent people and proceed to raise their child as your own, I think it's fair to question your moral values. And finally, last on our list, none of the Dark Brotherhood contracts offered are particularly meant for good, kind-hearted players. But there's one choice you're given within the questline that's especially cruel. You see, early on with the guild, you'll be sent by Astrid to meet with a woman named Moira in Markarth. This begins the quest, Morning Never Comes. Moira has performed the Black Sacrament and summoned the Brotherhood, hoping to use him as a tool to extract revenge on a man who wronged her. She once lived in Windhelm, where Moira was close friends with Clan Shattershield, arguably the town's most influential family. This becomes important later on. At some point while living in Windhelm, she met and fell for a Breton man named Elaine Defont. At first, all was great. The two began a romantic relationship, and Moira was as happy as could be. But a few weeks into their fling, all of that came crashing down. Elaine turned out to have no real love for Moira, and was simply using her ties to the Shattershields as a means to make robbing the family all that much easier. One night, he and a gang of bandits broke into the clan's home, stole thousands of septims worth of goods, and disappeared into the night. Moira was obviously left devastated, but her broken heart was made only worse by how harshly the Shattershields treated her afterwards. They blamed her for the whole mess and shamed her relentlessly. With her closest friends now effectively hating her, Moira decided to flee the city and start a new life in Markarth. After revealing all this to you, she'll then ask that you kill Elaine Defont. But will also offer a bit of a side objective. She promises to pay extra if you kill a young Shattershield clanswoman named Nilsine as well. Nilsine really didn't do anything to her, but Moira suspects that the death of Nilsine Shattershield will somehow show the family what they lost. Now, the thing is, the Shattershields have actually already been through quite a lot. Frigga, one of the family's youngest girls, was recently murdered by a serial killer in the city, and they're currently grieving for the loss of one family member as is. So if you choose to go ahead and also kill Nilsine, which again, you don't have to, it's entirely optional, you'll only be adding to that suffering much more. And unfortunately, some of the Shattershields just won't be able to handle it. If Nilsine is killed and you wait a few days, you'll then be able to break into the Shattershield clan house, where you'll find the corpse of Tova, the family's matriarch and Nilsine's mother, lying next to a note. In it, she professes that losing one daughter, Frigga, was hard enough, and now losing her second is just too much to bear. Thus, she has decided to take her own life. And so, depending on the choices the Dragonborn makes, the Shattershield clan can be down 3 members in less than a month. With that somber tone, we are going to wrap up. 5 evil decisions you can make in The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Which of the ones featured on this list did you find to be the most fascinating? Which of the choices have you made before, and which of the ones could you just not bring yourself to do? Leave a comment down below. I actually had quite a bit of fun making this video, so I don't know what that says about me, but no matter, thanks for stopping by. As always, like ratings are very much appreciated, and I hope to catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.